Hello and welcome or welcome back. This is the Daily Dharma number 2. After quite a while, a long hiatus, I already gave the updates for the channel on the previous reading. We're looking forward to new energy here. So this second reading, if you did not or choose not to view the first one, that's fine. The reading should be inclusive, but basically we're going through this timeline shift that is coming on the heels of perhaps having a longer term pattern that we're graduating from at this time in our life, where other individuals have underestimated or taken for granted or dismissed or devalued in some type of a way. But ultimately, the revelation happening to the self here is that it is our light and our radiance, our softness and compassion, our resilience, all of these things about us that challenge this person's fear of needing to embody their own lessons. So we've already gotten those messages out, and we have a few cards on the table already. Let's get in without further delay. So I just got this Art of War Doubted Ching deck. Sun Tzu said, in respect of military method, we have firstly, measurement. Secondly, estimation of quantity. Thirdly, calculation. Fourthly, balancing of chances. Fifthly, victory. So that's kind of long-winded. And then they expand this. Measurement owes its existence to Earth. Estimation of quantity to measurement. Calculation to estimation of quantity. Balancing of chances to calculation. And victory to balancing of chances. So it's interesting here because that was so spirally and round. I'm not sure if all of you were able to really commit any understanding there. But what I'm getting out of this is that when we believe that we win, and when we are resilient, and when we are undaunted, that is when our self-belief in potentiality, it's like I don't have to cling to a specified outcome because I trust the process. And so basically my measurement is that if I am content with what shows itself to me, and I understand that I am responsible for my choices and for my magnetism and all these things, then I can kind of understand that I've got a good chance if I'm committed. So my calculation and my input, and I come up with these plans and measurements, then this balancing of chances and like, well, chances are I'm going to be happy with the outcome if I do the right thing and continue to learn my lessons and go in a positive, resonant, heartfelt direction with high moral character, then I'm going to feel good about who I am. And so that's victory and success. So how do you define success? You balance out your chances and you become happy with the results and motivated for more. You identify your passions and you make a plan to fulfill yourself without waiting for others or so on. So, all right. I like those pre-messages. I also, under the mixed deck, we've got 3 decks here. We've got Kali, Kuan Yin, and this Medicine Heart deck. And, oh, I thought I had no disturb, but I do not. Sorry, one moment. So here we have Kundalini Shakti at the bottom of the deck. And this is telling me, again, with some of the messages from the previous reading, it's talking about a very powerfully connected and integrated personality and character. Someone who has done a lot of shadow work and a lot of light work and has a lot of compassion and humility. Somebody who is both led, motivated, committed, disciplined, and assertive, and accountable, and somebody who is also magnetic, responsive, and in the flow of what is. For instance, that feminine energy is like, I have the true story, a gazillion, true number, things to do. But the last few days, my energy began to sag. And I know that part of this has to do with these situations and the estimations and measurements of others, believing that I cannot or will not or should not um, move in certain directions, or that I can't accomplish, or that my capacity or my abilities are somewhat questioned for them because they question their own. And this has been bothering me because I was questioning my own. Right. And so I see this with other readers. I sense that this is part of the collective. It's like these people were underestimating us because previously we were questioning ourselves. And suddenly it's like, again, with that, people don't rob an empty house, right? They don't go in there and, when they're looking for some type of energy, fuel, or whatever, and go after somebody who has low energy or nothing to offer. But when you notice these people who are energy siphoning, or, tagalongs, or whatever else they might be, they're trying to diminish and devalue. And sometimes it doesn't even need to be them. It can be just that piece and that seed of doubt within ourselves that has been incidentally or accidentally nurtured into having some weeds in our garden. And so those little insecurities are coming up for for us to recognize that we hold such incredible power. And especially with Kundalini Shakti, it's that creative, sexual, alluring, magnetic, and vibrant, radiant energy that is so attractive to so many individuals that you may also find yourself having other individuals threatened by you when, as far as like their partnerships go, like, oh well, you look too good, don't be around me, or like your girlfriends or guy friends, whatever, when you go out, somebody needing on some ego level to elevate themselves by saying, oh well, ha ha ha, this person. So these are all ridiculous behaviors when you're sitting here knowing your worth. And I think that's where you're at, and why you haven't been around certain people or certain energies for a long time, but it keeps coming back in for resolution and for you to gain even more insight into who and what you are and your abilities, basically. So we have this Stargate portal that was already talked about in the previous reading. It's those choice points and the difficult decisions you've made. Um, Actually, let's not start with this one. Let's just give you a rundown. Also, Furred and Feathered Friends. This card was in the wrong deck previously, and it's really talking about you and your time in nature and your expansive type of personality and the energy, insight, and an energy that you're able to channel at any given moment. It's like you are one of those people, perhaps it's either old soul or just in an accumulating lifestyle or lifetime where you are becoming very highly attuned and aware and able to utilize and plug into all these various teachings at any given moment, or to channel something directly from spirit. You may be a medium or somebody who does channel individuals. So let's go ahead and get some code cards here from the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck and the Beyond Lemuria deck. First one out, Transition 43. This to me is the DNA cellular upgrade here. 43 reduces to a 7. It's a frequency shift, and so you may be having various ascension symptoms, or even as some of you are empaths and being projected upon, you may have your energy feeling slowed down or needing to recover after some type of potentially psychic attack or manipulation or projection energy. But your frequency shift is like these ascension symptoms come as we are vibrating at a different, elevated, more enlightened energy. It begins to shed all of these old energies from our experience, and some of that can come through the physical body. And I'm also being told to perhaps think about the symbolic connection. Like, for instance, if all of your ailments or pains are happening on one side of the body, for me, being a right-handed individual, I take my right hand as my assertive masculine dominant side, and my left side being my receptive and feminine side. And so I can understand, oh, well, I have these things coming up in this way. And the difference here is that if there is dis-ease showing itself, for instance, in this example, on one of those polarities, then we are being told to protect ourselves from what we choose to receive and hold on to, or what we are projecting, or, yeah, let's not get too far into that. Anything else? You're shifting out of being somebody's, like, this is a tough image, but it's like people just projecting things. It's like people just throwing their discarded personal debris into a waste bucket, and them just throwing it at you like you're just going to be this container for all of their unrealized expectations. And it's just not the way things are going to go. And that's not who you are or who you've ever really been. But I think that to a certain degree, because you were so ahead of some type of timeline, there were experiences where that happened temporarily, and other people have expectations. So you are getting out of that vibe. Authority, absolutely. You're like, yeah, that's not going to be going on any longer. And I'm also sensing that your vision, your innovation, and your spiritual psychic authority is unquestionable. Your the results, again, with people understanding what you've brought into fruition already and how you've already changed, is like making you some type of new authority figure in some way, which is bringing other people to possibly compete, either try to get into some type of control or power dynamic here. But you're standing in your truth and empowerment. You're not going to be swayed, and you're not going to listen to somebody speak around in circles. You're not going to listen to people telling you who you are or what is possible for you or what you deserve. That's not what other people are here to do for you. Yeah, again, with that first reading, we talked about you're your own alchemist. These people are coming in like, oh, yeah, well, you got this because of me, or look at what I did for you, like trying to get some type of credit or um, embody some of your success, like to own some of your success. And it's your power that they crave and that they're somehow feeding off of, which sounds pretty bad. But I'm sensing that some of these people are not awful people. They just are that unaware of the impact that they're having. So let's see, we've got, yes, Saint Germain and the violet flame coming through here. You're absolutely an alchemist, and you're using all of your multi-dimensional tools, as well as many of you with the various different hues. It's like you are the energy workers. You're working with your own chakra systems to alchemize your experience, to alleviate pressure. When you feel different pressure in your body, you are listening to all of the ways that Spirit speaks through you and to you, and you are listening and believing in your own psychic messages and spiritual authority here, while transmuting other people's opinions as far as they impact and come to your awareness. So yeah, it's an interesting depiction, but you're put in this situation for a very important reason. Again, with her, she's holding this timeline, this portal that we saw earlier open here, and she's got this cord to it, and she's actually got it in her hand, and it becomes her staff. So staff to me talks about also spiritual authority, and I see this big eye in the sky and all of these energies. It's like you're here from the future, and you are here to bring people out of the lower consciousness in some way by witnessing your own alchemical transition and transformation into powerful authority figure. Perhaps you were subtle, meek, and underestimated, so that you could be some type of like prophet or visionary, and so that when you brought that truth, others would listen to you because you're humble. And so you're transmuting someone else who's on a power trip here, helping to be the bridge, the conduit between opposing factors, and alchemizing a situation or group or discussion or process within yourself or a relationship. And you're shifting and transitioning the health and well-being of an environment or an entity. Can be a government, or again, a group that works together, or a family dynamic, generational healing, absolutely any of this. But you are working with very powerful forces here with Saint Germain and with the I am presence. It says that you two are gods, and so you are refusing to compete with those that are locked into that absent-minded competition frequency, scarcity mindsets, and you are daring others to follow you into the abundance mindset of collaboration and compatibility instead of conflict and condescension. And we also have Star Seed Elemental. Absolutely, you are a conduit of energies from above. And again, both of these with that, it's that total tantric kundalini shakti energy alchemized and brought forward. As you're transmuting this, you're creating something that hasn't existed before. You're moving into brand new territory. And that, again, with that starseed elemental, why is that robin kind of staring at me? And you want to come over here and get some energy? Yeah, maybe your furred and feathered friends here. Maybe you speak to the animals Snow White style. I don't know. Starseed Elemental is often someone who I take as both an old soul as well as a very tender and sensitive individual on different levels. It's that we are here with such an unconditionally loving center and soul force energy that it can be very disconcerting and destabilizing for us to have these projected energies in our field. And so now that we are understanding something about our power to transmute this for ourselves and others, we can understand why it was so important that we were placed in this unique position. And it may look like oppression or betrayal or disloyalty, but we're here to say something very important and to be heard. Remembrance. We already talked about remembrance in the previous video as well. 38 reduces to an 11. And it's talking again about the Akashic and about our awakening process and the seed of awakening that happens between self and others as we reawaken and become aware of, well, this person comes for me because I have power. I didn't know I had so much power. I thought everybody was like me, because we have this projected awareness from an early age. It's like, oh, I thought everybody knew this, or I thought everybody could do these things. And now it's like you're remembering yourself in this very, very powerful way, and it's bringing all of your soul force energy back home to your center, and that powerful energy is summoning your kundalini creative sexual energy upwards throughout all of your chakras, and you're reaching very far into an elevated expectation and a belief that all things are possible, and balancing the chances and choices and measuring the people and the success of the situation. You are coming in with this peacock vibrancy from our previous reading with your multicolored cloak. Isn't that an old song too? Dolly Parton, money colored something. I'm not necessarily a Dolly Parton fan, but it's something about our humble beginnings, that this patchwork quilt of experience that is us, this humble seeker that doesn't come at people with all of these entrapping uh, evidence of our material success and like, oh, look at me energy. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, and it comes into people's field very softly and soothing, and the things that you say hit them deep. And the way that you hit people is all based upon what they choose to remember about themselves. And so that's how we're waking each other up. And what we see in another is how we choose to interpret it. Are we going to hold their garbage, or are we going to like be that basketball reference here where somebody's going in for the slam dunk and you go in and get that out of here. You're not putting that slam dunk in my basket and scoring at my expense. This does not have to be any type of competition and scorekeeping and game playing in that type of a way. So we win some, we lose some. Look at this portal keeper. That's incredible. Exactly what I had said about this. I love this deck. So she's keeping the portal open here in this violet flame and listening very, very, very deeply to these records, to the Akashic records, to the way that others hit you, the way that you hit them, and you're spinning it, spinning it, spinning it, weaving it into this experience. And look at this cat. It does look a little bit silly or dumb or simple, but those of you that know about magic can see that this cat is absolutely multidimensional, otherworldly, a goddess embodied. Maybe Sekhmet or Bastet are some of your goddess guardians here, but there's a lot of remembrance happening here that you are transmuting the resonance between you and others, for those that come in kindness and those that come with challenges or illusion. You are keeping that portal and filtering through a very highly protected uh, awareness here, and you're invoking the mirroring that happens when it's like when somebody comes with that trash, that batting that ball back out of the area is like you coming in and just being like, no, this pattern stops with me. If you choose to play with me, you're playing by some semblance of rules or not, right? So divine masculine underneath here. And somebody shuffled some of my cards in the reverse. So we do have some reversed cards, which I don't normally read if you know me. Divine Masculine talks about how we make use of energy and what we believe, what we assert, and what we intend, how our character influences situations is profound and also exciting, I'm hearing. The inversions here are Earth, which says nurture nature. It's time for us to understand how to nurture what we need in this situation. And I think that that's been what we've been learning this entire lifetime. And now there's a way that we have this opportunity to show up in this group situation or this relationship dynamic changed, and also to then assist them to nurture their own inner nature and ask them, what are your expectations for this dynamic or something like that? Because here we have a limited mindset from somebody that keeps trying to tell you what is or isn't possible. They don't see the endless possibilities. And again, with those butterflies, your caterpillar people are going to need to go through their own metamorphosis in their own sacred divine timing. Um, we don't need to demand for them to understand the opportunities, but we can continue to show them their reflection in the mirror by being our own greatness. That's how we lift others up, not by pointing out their insecurities or their downfalls or what they should work on per se. We show them what it's like to be the better, bigger, learning, the grower. Why am I hearing that? Somebody wants to just be all talk to show up or show out and be the one that's always at the forefront, but they aren't growing. And so, um, yeah. So I don't want to offend anyone. Cover your ears, sensitives. But somebody here's being a real dick. Excuse the expression. There's a lot of fire here from the solar plexus, and the wills of others are clashing, and you have your head bowed with all of this sacred dragon energy, that kundalini rising. It's like I'm seeing you in this group dynamic, having to take a deep breath, center, and gather up the grounded nature so that you don't pop off or say something in emotional intensity that others cannot receive. And so it's like taking this moment for prayerful centering and just saying, Lord, help me, or whatever it is for you. But yeah, you're praying for evolution in some manner here. And look at this masked mermaid. There's a lot of deep emotional trauma bonding that people have previously engaged in. But again, with that transition card, is about the cellular healing. The DNA is being, I'm hearing, afflicted or influenced or activated, more accurately, by the light codes coming in now. So this full fire, this Solaris sublime, is like, get out and get into nature and do something that helps you to transmute any frustrating energies. Make sure that you're aware that others are not doing this to you and taking it personal, but transmuting and alchemizing that fire into fuel for further evolution, because I'm seeing all these jellyfish too, and the jellyfish um, don't actually have a central. Oh, there's a bird over there that just made a noise. Don't have a central nervous system. Is that correct? They have just an autonomous nervous system, so they have just that gut instincts. They don't have a brain and a spine, which is interesting. So spineless others, and we have all this personal authority here, so we're threatening others who don't know how to call their kundalini and be empowered to stand with their spine true and to grow and evolve. But you're showing the way by rising above and magnetizing them to you, by reclaiming your power, truth, and energy from projected energies, false masking timelines, obscuring, clouding behavior and projected energies, or from naysayers and those that want to diminish or devalue. Under that, we have root chakra, ground and center. Again, moth, very much like the butterfly. Perception, tantric journey, exactly. That's what we're talking about here. And water, the overflow energy. You're very powerful, very enlightened, very in your flow energy, and you're really able to channel some very solid mother earthly, divine nurturing mother energy into this situation for healing and greater exposing people's vulnerabilities in a way that is non-threatening, but helps everybody to move through some type of false uh, shame projected or so on, to get to what we all hold in unison, the unity between us. What is the common collective vibe or the objective of the group or the family that's together? What is the healing? What's coming through? And you got to really feel it to heal it. And there's some type of sacred discussion or high-minded communication of true feelings and vulnerability that needs to come out in order for this to truly be healed. And it looks like you're the one that is powerful enough to be the container for this beautiful healing experience with others, to shift the perspectives, to heal the dynamic, to ground center people in their own energy so they stop trying to bump up and be friction with everybody else. It's time for the groups to come together and connect. So I love that for you so much. I hope that helps. And we're at the end of the video. We're getting assistance in here. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It does help grow the channel. I could really use it for the time being, at least. You are graduating. You are no longer receptive to an old cycle. The storms are no longer going to influence you. You are calming the storms and riding the storm. You're gaining recognition for something you're bringing to the table as well. Beautiful. You've got a lot of intuition. Your celestial energy is being rejuvenated and recalibrated. You're awakening to your starseed origins and some type of mediumship. There's you being an ambassador for these energies, grounding them here in this time and space in Mother Earth. So that's